Chapter 5. Screech ran the last of the pencils through the electric sharpener. Then he carefully set them in the pencil holder on the city editor's desk. He arranged them in a line, points up, so that the editor would see what a meticulous job he had done. Maybe he'd realized that Screech would be the perfect person to go cover a 6-alarm fire or something. It had only taken Screech about 15 minutes to realize that becoming a great journalist might take a little longer than a week. Being a copy boy meant that he swept the floor, fetched coffee from the deli downstairs, and kept the desks stocked with supplies. The men and women who worked on the paper barely noticed him. They were too busy clicking on their computer keys and dashing out to their assignments. How was he going to impress Nanny this way? Nanny, I mopped the floor so clean at the Gazette that when someone dropped their bagel, they went right ahead and ate it without dusting it off first. Some accomplishment. That should really get her back, Screech thought sourly as he stacked a fresh pile of message pads for the receptionist. He picked up a broom and began to sweep up. A reporter came out of the elevator and stopped to pick up his messages. He leafed through the little pink sheets. "Thanks, Rosalie," he said to the receptionist. "But next time, could you tell people I quit my job and moved to Tahiti?" The receptionist smiled. "Feeling a little overworked, George?" The reporter leaned over the desk. "He's killing me, Rosalie. He's assigned me 3 different stories, plus a 3-part feature for the Sunday edition of the loss of government jobs in Palisades because of the end of the Cold War." Screech's broom stopped moving. He inched closer to the desk. Rosalie gave George a sympathetic look. "Tell me about it. Jake is on the warpath, I hear. Can't you give something to Mike or Fran?" George groaned. "They're snowed under, too." He shook a pink slip at Rosalie. "See this? This guy, Barney Brill, is calling to set up an appointment to tour this government remote sensing plant. Like I have time for this. I don't even know what it means. But Jake wants me to tour the place for atmosphere." "Then you've got to do it, pal," Rosalie said. "Jake's the boss." "Don't remind me," George said. "Catch you later, Rosalie." He walked past Screech into the noisy city room. Screech followed him, trailing his broom. George got to his desk and slipped out of his jacket. Excuse me? Sir? Screech squinted at George's nameplate. "Mr. Smedley?" "Yeah, what is it, kid?" George Smedley looked up at him. "I'm the new copy boy," Screech said. "Samuel Powers." "Hi, how are you? Hey, you're the guy with the mop. Let me tell you, I've never seen the floor so clean. I dropped a bagel on it and ate it, anyway." "I'm glad to hear that, Mr. Smedley," Screech said. "I'd like to really help out, though." "That would be nice, kid," George said, "'cause I could sure use it, let me tell ya. Are you going on a donut run?" Not exactly," Screech said. "Here's my idea. I could do some of the legwork for you, like touring the government plant. You could just tell me what to ask, and I could type up my notes and give them to you." George eyed him with sharp blue eyes. Have any experience with reporting?" Behind his back, Screech crossed his fingers. "Tons. I'm like a fixture at my school paper." He had been a fixture, waiting for Nanny. George slowly nodded. "Maybe we could do it." At that, "You're on, kid. Let me type up a few questions for you, and you can head over there this afternoon." "Great," Screech crowed. He rushed away to get his very own pad and pencil from the supply room. He was a real reporter. He had just hoped no one would miss him in the city room. He didn't want to lose his job. As he passed the city editor's desk, Jake Fallon let out a yell. "Yow!" he cried. "What lunkhead put my pencils with their points up? I could have stabbed myself to death." And on the other hand, Screech thought uneasily as he scurried past, maybe it's a good idea to disappear for a while. Lisa had always liked Miss Miniver. When it came time for the sewing portion of home ec, Mrs. Miniver had proved that she took fashion seriously, even if her taste did run to horrible, shapeless frocks she called house dresses. But Maisie McCracken was something else. Finally, Lisa saw completely eye to eye with the teacher. For Lisa's project, she got to go to the mall. Mrs. McCracken had signed the topic of courtship to Lisa and Nanny. Nanny had been thrilled to have such an experienced dater as Lisa giving her courting tips. Lisa had decided that the very first thing they needed to do, even before researching some boring cultural rituals at the library, was shop. Nanny needed an outfit for the masquerade ball. She had to completely knock Cal's eyes out and make him see her in a way he'd never seen her before. Lisa strolled into the mall and took a sniff of her favorite scent: fashion products, clothes, makeup, perfume, accessories. Somehow, she caught a whiff of it all. She saw Nanny waiting for her in front of the big clock in the center of the mall, and Lisa hurried towards her. "We'd better get started," Lisa said as she came up. "We only have a couple of hours before dinner." Nanny nodded. "Where should we start?" "Well," Lisa said, "first of all, who are you thinking of going as? The theme of this year is television characters." "And I've come up with a fabulous idea," Nanny said. She took a deep breath. "Lois Lane." Lisa let out a shrill scream. "Are you delirious, girlfriend? She's really smart and she's a reporter. She's always investigating an exciting story." Nanny protested. "And besides, Cal would be perfect as Clark Kent." "But he doesn't want to see someone in a three-piece suit," Lisa said. "Let me think a minute." She gazed at Nanny while she puzzled over the problem. Nanny looked back hopefully. She was kind of cute, Lisa thought, in a mousy way. That was the problem. Her hair was light brown, and her eyes were brown, and her features were regular. For a first impression, she was sweet, but maybe a tad on the boring side. She needed a little sizzle to get Cal to sit up and take notice. Lisa snapped her fingers. "I've got it! Ginger from Gilligan's Island." "Ginger?" Nanny asked doubtfully. "You mean the redhead with that breathy voice?" "Nanny, don't take the whole thing so seriously," Lisa advised. "The object is to attract Cal. Do you want to look interesting, or do you want to look sexy? If you go as Ginger, you can wear a red wig and lipstick and a tight sequin dress. If you go as Lois Lane, you can wear your glasses and sensible shoes." Lisa put her hands on her